Hi everybody, Cindy the Scrapologist. Happy Friday. It is a blustery Friday here in Maine. Ooh, very cold. I finally got my sweater, my long sleeve sweater out. Haven't had to wear it until today. Um, so I ran out with my husband this morning. We ran some errands, had some breakfast, and I came back and bundled up, got my tea, and said, I'm just going to be in the studio all day, just staying nice and warm. The wind is howling outside, shaking the windows, blowing all the beautiful leaves off the trees. So fall is officially over, unfortunately. My tea of the day. This is just a rambling video today, by the way. I have a few things to share with you. Some kind of cool information about vintage newspapers. I want to show you a couple of books I bought that I really like, and some new items that are going to be in my shop, and some happy mail I got. Just a rambling. But this is my little teacup that I love, and it has a little filter in the top. So you just put your loose tea in the top, and then it brews right in the cup. It's got the little lid, and then you can take your lid and put it right on there, and you have your tea. I love this thing. My tea today from Plum Deluxe is spiced caramel apple. Oh, it smells so good. It's too hot to drink still, and I always keep it far, far away from my projects because I'm a klutz. Well, just a few quick things. I wanted to show you this. I'm going to be doing another video right after this one, listing this new scrapbook album in my shop. I thought the paper was just beautiful. It's got a lot of rose gold in it. I haven't done an album in a while, so decided to do one, and I'm real happy with how it turned out, and this is going to be going in my shop. So I'm going to do a video next on that. I wanted to also give a huge thank you to Judith. Judith is a subscriber, and I had mentioned some things that are going on with my mom on one of the videos. Mom has not been feeling well. She's been having trouble doing the stairs to get to her craft room. She had, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but she had carpal tunnel surgery to her right hand, which is her dominant hand, so she couldn't craft forever. She was in so much pain. Well, she still can't close her hand to do anything. This is like 6 or 7 months later, and turns out they botched it, and she has to have it redone. Can you believe it? So I was just feeling so bad for her, and I mentioned it, and Judith decided to send Mom some happy mail. And she sent her a beautiful handmade journal. And in the package, she sent me an envelope of goodies too, this really pretty envelope. And inside are some things that some fussy cut butterflies and some, just packed with goodies, postcards and tags and journal cards. And so she sent me a little happy mail too. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much, Judith, especially for making my mom's day. It's that's one of the things, I know I say it all the time, but it's one of the things I love about this community, the random acts of kindness, the happy mail, the encouragement when somebody is feeling like their work isn't good enough. It's just a really super positive community. And when somebody reaches out to my mom, somebody who means the world to me, then it touches my heart too. So everybody say, give big hugs to Judith and Ellen, my mom, down below. And, try to get to know each other as much as you can. It's a really nice community. So thank you, Judith, so much from the bottom of my heart. So, and this was the first time I ever got Happy Mail. I've been on Etsy forever, but I'm still sort of new to YouTube. So, and wasn't really in any of the Facebook groups until recently. So it was my first Happy Mail. Thank you, Judith. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the vintage newspapers that are in my shop. I found out something interesting about these. A subscriber is the one, he actually ordered some through my Etsy shop, and he gave me some information on these that I didn't know. And so I started doing a little bit of research, and it was super interesting. These papers are all from the 1800s. Some are pre 1880 and some are after 1880. And if you look at the difference, you can see the ones that are before 1880 are still really quite white in color. And of course the fonts are just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But then you look at the ones after 1880, and these are all in not as good shape, and they're quite aged looking, bordering on brown. And the reason for that, the person who told me this was his name is Paris, and he has a YouTube channel, and I didn't even realize I was following him. He's one guy online, and I'm going to put the link below. We should all go over and say, "Hi, I heard about you on the Scrapologist." That would be kind of fun because we don't have very many men in the community, which is why I follow him, because I like to get a male perspective on crafts every once in a while. We make gifts for men, and it's kind of cool to have a guy in the community. So one guy online, he's the one who got me started on this research. Newspapers that were made before the 1880s were actually made from cotton and rags, linen rags, and they would boil them to a pulp, spread them into a mold, almost kind of like you would make handmade paper today. And then they would dry this between two pieces of felt. And so that's why they're still white, because they're made from cotton and linen rags. And you can really feel the difference too on these ones that are pre-1880. So then around 1880, manufacturers started using cheaper wood pulp to produce their newspapers. And these are thinner, and they tend to be a little smoother and aren't as high quality as the cotton and linen rag paper. And so these tend to, because of the wood pulps, tend to be more brown or yellowish in color because of the acids that they used to as part of the process. So I just thought that was really interesting, and these are just so fun to look at, and I'm always tempted to just sit and look at every single ad and read every single article. They're just so much fun, but I'm really treasuring these cotton ones now. So far in when I don't have oops, I must have folded this wrong. I don't have a lot of these left, but so far I've been able to give everybody that buys a pack of the papers, I've been able to give one of these cotton ones, and the rest are the wood pulp ones. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and I thought you might want to know that, because we're really interested in paper and history. And thank you, one guy online, Mr. Paris. So there's that. Then I went online and bought a couple of books that I wanted to show you. I did a lot of research on some things that I've been wanting to learn for my personal, just for me personally, some things I wanted to learn about. And one was Japanese bookbinding. This book is going to be glare, sorry. This book, let's see if I can, yeah, see, I have to have the light overhead, so there's no getting around it. Japanese Bookbinding, Instructions from a Master Craftsman by Kojiro Ikigami. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. But let me turn the page so we're not looking at that. This book came highly recommended from so many bookmakers, because I study the traditional bookbinding methods quite a bit, and everybody raved about this book. It was originally published in the 1970s was when he wrote it. He's now passed on, but he has the most interesting history. He ended up being the son-in-law. He was born in 1908, and he ended up being the son-in-law of a famous bookbinder. And so he learned from him, and now his son and grandson, this is like, how many generations now? I can't remember, but it's like the fifth or sixth generation, maybe even more than that, because his father-in-law started back in the 1800s, and they're still using some of. Oh, and it goes through the history of books, how they started out as scrolls, and how books developed from there. But his bookbinding company, which is now in the hands of his children and grandchildren, they're still using some of the old tools. And I should have bookmarked these beforehand, but I wanted to show you something really funny. So I know it's right near the front here. But the pictures and the steps are laid out so nicely, and I've bought a lot of bookbinding books. Oh, there's the picture I want to show you. And I can't believe how many times one of the steps doesn't have a picture. And so you kind of get stymied halfway through and have to figure something out by yourself. These are in black and white. I wish they were in color, but they're not, but that's okay. But every picture is just, every step has a picture to go with it. But the funny thing, and this is another little history lesson, I guess. This object here, and it's going to be glary because it's shiny paper. This here is a cutting form. And what they would do is they would put their signatures, folded signatures, under this, stand on it, and then take a meat cleaver like this one and cut the edges of the paper. So here he is doing it right here. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would either cut off my fingers or my toes. You do not want to see me doing this. It would be a bloody mess. So this is before OSHA, I guess. But that's how they used to do it. That's how they used to trim and make the edges of their paper smooth. I thought that was really interesting. And he's still using the old tools to pound with, just an old piece of wood. And so you don't need fancy tools to learn Japanese bookbinding. Try to show you some examples of what Japanese bookbinding looks like. So this is Japanese bookbinding, a little different than what most of us do in junk journals. And again, I'm so sorry for the glare. It's a shiny book, but I can't turn the light off. But you see how it's bound so differently from Western binding. And I just think it's beautiful, and I've been learning how to do this. So I just wanted to tell you about this book. This is the first bookbinding book that I would actually recommend. I bought one called Making Handmade Books. I hate to speak negatively, but that one has so many errors in it. I'm always having to redo the measurements. I waste paper because I make something and the measurements aren't right. So that kind of thing drives me crazy when I pay a lot of money for a hardcover book. This one, so far, everything has been spot on. It's been around since the 1970s. He's a master bookbinder, third generation, I think, and I really love this book. I'll try to put a link below. If they're probably selling this on Amazon. I'll put an affiliate link, and if you purchase it through my link below, I do get like 5 cents, 10 cents. It's not a big money maker, but I just had to buy some new lights for my studio, and it costs money to make these videos, and so I just do those affiliate links so I can get some pocket change every once in a while to help out with making these videos. So I would thank you for that if you did that. Here's the next one that I got that I'm really happy about. And let me get a sip of my spiced caramel apple tea. Oh, that is good. That is fall in a cup right there. Yummy. Okay, this one is called The Geometry of Hand Sewing. This one's going to be a little easier to look at. A Romance in Stitches and Embroidery from Alabama. I don't know how you pronounce that. Shannon? That's the name of the company that she owns. And the School of Making. And so her name is Natalie Shannon. And I've been wanting to step up my embroidery. I want to do a lot more sewing in my books and on my pages and on my covers. I only just started sewing like last year or the year before. Got a sewing machine, pulled out some needles and thread. My mother is a fabulous sewer. She quilts, and you should see some of the embroidery she's done. But so I just was really inspired to learn more. And again, did a lot of research on which book I should buy, and I chose this one, and I'm happy I did. This one, first of all, I love that it has spirals here so you can lay it flat. It hasn't been used enough to really, it's not broken in yet, but you can lay it flat so that you can look at it while you're sewing. But the thing that I love the most, so the entire book is stitch after stitch after stitch. This whole thing here is all different stitches. Look at how many stitches. Well, this first part is like teaching you about all of your supplies and whatnot, which is a really good read too. But then there's basic stitches, and it gets more advanced up to patterned stitches like this the farther you go. Like, I want to do something like that and have that be a book cover. And something I can sit and do in front of the TV. You know, I don't always want to bring down my paper trimmer and my glue, and I want to be able to have a little, especially for the winter. But the coolest part of this book is in the back. And I haven't pulled these out yet, but there are 2 templates. And they're plastic, and they have holes in them. And you use these templates in a variety of different ways, and these 2 templates will make every single stitch in this book. And it tells you use template 1 and then do another layer below. You know, it explains how to do it. So then what you do with these, let me see if there's an easier way to see this, see the holes and stuff. Probably not with this. Nah. Do I have a piece of black paper? I'm in a craft studio. You would think I would. Voila. Okay, so you can kind of see the holes a little better there. So what you do is you take your, what do you call it? You know, erasable marker, or the quilting pen that dissolves, that fades. Can't think of the word I'm thinking of. And then you can mark your pattern right on your fabric, and that gives you your holes where you sew. So this template and this template will do every single pattern in this book. And so this winter I am just going to have a ton of fun learning how to embroider. So what else? I think that's all I have for right now. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put my mood ring on. Got my mood ring on today. We'll see what color I am. Okay. Well, that's about it. Happy Meal, couple history lessons, interesting stuff on newspapers, and something new that's going to be in my shop soon. So check out the next video for a flip through of this, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.